today let's have a conversation about currency. And this particular currency is called exposure. So perhaps that's not a currency you've heard of because it's not dollars or pounds, but it is something that agencies are commonly asked for. Agencies are commonly asked to build websites in return for exposure. And this is something that we as an agency have been asked multiple times. We probably get asked at least once or twice a month. And we always politely explain that we don't accept exposure as a form of currency. And I don't mean that sarcastically, but we honestly have to run a business. We need to pay salaries. We need to have a pipeline and cash flow. That is how we need to run as a business. There is a temptation as an agency to be attracted by the idea of exposure, by the promise that at some point in the future, you'll get exposure with this particular client, with this particular brand, which will therefore lead to more and exciting opportunities in the future, will lead to more business. Having their logo on your website or having your logo on their website or on their products, etc., will somehow lead to more business. But the problem with that is it's a promise, I guess. It's a dream. It may or may not happen. We don't know. It's something that you can't measure. Whereas if you are selling something for pounds or dollars or whatever your currency is, and that is going in your bank, that is something you can measure. You are providing your client value. Your client is paying for that value. That is money. That is cash flow. That is not exposure. Exposure is the sell of a promise, the sell of what could be for you if you'll only do the work for free so that they can have the benefit of your value, and perhaps you will get repaid at some point in the long term because of sponsorship, because of exposure. Now, I'm not to say that if you are a brand new agency and you want to build up a small portfolio and you're happy to do 1 or 2 projects at the very beginning for some exposure and to build up your portfolio, then of course that totally makes sense. If you've budgeted for that, if you're able to do that, then sure, go ahead. There are also other companies as well that will offer at least 1 free website per year to charities or non-profits. And again, if you've budgeted for that, if you are prepared for that, absolutely go ahead. But if you are a full-time agency, if websites or design are your bread and butter, then exposure is something that's very, very hard to track. It's an exchange rate that is practically impossible to define. And it's something that we as an agency do not accept. So guys, let's have a conversation about this. Do you accept exposure as a currency? Let us know some wins. That would be fantastic because it would be great to know some of the positive sides of doing some free work in return for exposure. Also, be sure to let us know the non-wins, the fails, in the comments below, or if you would prefer a more private place, then head on over to the Facebook group at wpinnovator.com/group. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.